What you're spewing could actually hurt people, could kill people.
I'm currently researching the impressive potential that whole food plant-based diets have in halting and reversing chronic kidney disease, as I prepare a future video, and I am truly being blown away by what I'm finding. People describing a plant-based diet as life-changing, which is why I feel quite passionate about this video today. On GB News' YouTube channel, a very popular meat-based diet educator here in the UK took on Dr. Greger in a lively debate. A comment left under the video said this: "After 4 years of dealing with a bad kidney left from kidney cancer, I then turned whole food plant-based, and my GFR went from 50 to 90. GFR is the glomerular filtration rate, which shows how well your kidneys are filtering. A level of 50 is stage 3, and 90 is normal." Let's have a listen to some of that debate now.
Well, I'll just say something first. My views reflect the views of my enormous network of professors, doctors, and metabolic and nutrition science. So it's not just me. So the reality is that a meat-based diet is nutrient dense. And the proteins in meats and animal foods are way more bioavailable, right, to humans. A part of it is our evolution came from eating meat. So to get a decent protein, and 40% of Americans in a recent study are not reaching the target, that target's been raised, so it's worse than that. And the bioavailability of proteins is around a half to a third often of animal foods. So we have a huge problem, developing world, a massive problem. Almost none of them are getting their required protein and vitamins, and animal foods are the solution, even acknowledged by the WHO, though not pushed very hard. It's acknowledged that meat, fish and eggs and nutrient-dense foods are required for the anemia and the protein deficiencies across the whole planet. So a vegetarian diet is doable. And I have many vegetarian friends, and Joel can, and acknowledges you need to get your supplements and you need to be very careful with a diet that's missing animal foods.
Look, the number one killer of British men and women is heart disease. There's only one diet ever proven to reverse the progression of heart disease. That's a plant-based vegetarian diet. If that's all a plant-based diet could do, reverse the number one killer of men and women, shouldn't that be the default diet until proven otherwise? And the fact that it can also be so effective preventing, arresting, or reversing other leading killers like type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure would seem to make the case for plant-based eating simply overwhelming. People aren't dying of deficiency diseases. When's the last time you heard of someone having protein deficiency, beriberi, pellagra, scurvy? No, people are dying of excess. Of diseases of excess saturated fat and cholesterol. The healthiest diet is one centered around whole plant foods.
I think Dr. Greger there is referring to the Ornish study, and I have many good cardiologist friends, including Dr. Arthur Agatston, who invented the Agatston score. And basically, those studies are dismissed. They're based on grainy kind of images. They're not really solid science at all. So it's been demonstrated by Professor Jeff Follick and many others in human studies that a low-carb, high-fat, animal-based, largely diet can dramatically lower blood fats in diabetic people. And I just show something on the screen. You'll see the blue line collapsing and the pink line rising up to the right over 40 years. And essentially that's the reduction in red meat consumption over the last 40 years and the explosion of type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, which drives most heart disease. So to be honest, this isn't rocket science. We've lowered our nutrient density meats and we've exploded our chronic disease, including, as per Dr. Greger, the cardiac disease, the biggest killer. It's insulin resistance driven, and a whole foods, animal-based diet with plant foods can help counter this catastrophe.
My chart was all the diseases that are lower rates in vegetarians. And so beyond the heart disease, there's low rates of cancer and dementia. And in fact, I ran out of space. There's also lower gout, on and on. Dr. Dean Ornish, the heart disease reversal study, was published in the most prestigious medical journal in the world, The Lancet, out of Great Britain. I feel like I'm talking to a flat earther here, but it's even worse than that. I mean, if you want to go around talking about like lizard people or something, you can just get dismissed as a crank. But what you're spewing could actually hurt people, could kill people. Lots of things have changed over the last few decades. That's what's called ecological evidence. It's the lowest rung of evidence. The fact that, overall population consumption has gone up or down versus disease rates. What we want are interventional studies, randomized, controlled studies where you can actually prove you can reverse the leading killers of Britons with a healthy diet. And that is a diet centered around plant foods, reducing one's intake of meat, eggs, dairy, and junk.
I really enjoyed this debate, and I thought Dr. Greger was quite fiery. I highly recommend watching the original video in full, and then come back and leave a comment here, sharing what you thought about the overall debate. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more upcoming videos.